Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. We've seen many other cryptocurrencies pump over the years to new all-time highs. But will the mindset of speculators which causes that behavior ever impact XRP, or will such behavior not apply specifically to XRP for some reason? Another way of wording it is, are we just holding something, we're a big community, but nobody else is ever going to want to jump in any sort of meaningful way to push XRP to a new all-time high? And look, I've seen enough comments on social media to know that some XRP holders have effectively PTSD. You know, even though Bitcoin has pumped, ETH has pumped, hell, even Dogecoin has pumped, which was a joke at inception, never intended to have a multi-billion-dollar market cap, even though all sorts of coins have pumped, and so many others. Somehow it seems as though it's impossible for XRP to ever hit a new all-time high. I mean, after all, you know, even though our community is gigantic, again, where is the new money going to come from? Now, this concern comes from a lack of understanding of human behavior in speculative markets, and I want to squash this because it is an irrational fear. The fear that XRP price won't pump for such a reason or anything along those lines, it's completely irrational. And it doesn't mean that there's a 100% chance that XRP is going to hit a new all-time high, though you guys know me. My conviction is strong that it absolutely will, and we're going to enter price discovery. I think it's going to make a lot of new, very wealthy people. I firmly believe that's what's most probable here. Outside of something fundamentally changing to the negative for XRP, which I've not seen, outside of that, of course XRP is going to be treated the same. So I want to break down some of these thoughts. Also, just to kind of drive home a point that I was making the other day, I want to share with you this article, and it has to do with the idea of not being greedy. Look at this headline from Decrypt. Some of you may have heard of this guy. Dogecoin millionaire's fortune fell from $3 million to $50,000, but he hasn't lost the faith. And so the story of the Dogecoin millionaire is a cautionary tale about greed. There will be XRP holders that fall victim to their own greed when it eventually rockets to a new all-time high and enters price discovery, which is why I want to talk about it right now. But before going further, I do want to be clear that I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. All right, so I want to share with you perspective from a social media account on X called TXMC. It's at TXMC Trades. Now, this individual formerly worked with Glassnode, and Glassnode is a firm that I'm quite a big fan of, and they just share analysis having to do with on-chain analytics. I think they do a fantastic job. I highlight their stuff on my channel from time to time. And again, he used to work at this event. And he's now grown to the point where he's got 77,200 followers, and he just operates in the realm of logic. And I love that. I love it when people operate in the realm of logic rather than emotion or conspiracy theory or all that nonsense. So I want to share with you his perspective, and he shared this chart, which actually dates back to the first part of 2021. And he's talking specifically about Bitcoin, but he talks about the logic that allows for new all-time highs and price discovery. Because again, where's the new money going to come from? Who's going to be the sucker that's going to pay way more than you paid for the asset? Who's that sucker, right? Well, no, they're not suckers. It's just somebody who thinks that it's going to go way higher than what it is in that moment. And if you are enticed to sell because some asset you hold becomes an outsized portion of your net worth, it's not like you're taking advantage of somebody. You're doing something that's good for you, and the recipient on the other end believes that it's good for them because they believe it's going to go way higher. And we're all adults, and we get to make our own bets when it comes to that. When it comes to investments, that's just how it works, and that's a good thing. That's how this is supposed to work. And TXMC did an excellent job articulating why this works. And so, as I run through this real quick, because he just so succinctly nailed it, I just want you to understand that this absolutely applies to XRP. The underlying asset doesn't make human psychology no longer apply. So whether it's XRP or Bitcoin or Dogecoin, it doesn't matter. And so when you have this nascent asset class where all cryptocurrencies are treated effectively the same, like, what do you think is ultimately going to happen? So here's what he wrote. Excuse me. In every bull market, long-term holders sell in profit paying themselves for taking on risk and enduring the bear. You may not, but many others have and will again. As prices print new highs, old coins come to life in high volume. Price discovery draws out supply for sale. There are always coins churning and becoming available, and the swell grows in price discovery. Now, so pause to think about that. I can tell you that this is true for me. My XRP has just been sitting there for years on end. I haven't bought XRP in about 3 years. It's definitely October of 2020, the last time I purchased XRP, and it's by far my largest individual cryptocurrency holding. And I think it was the beginning part of October, so I believe it's been over 3 years at this point. It's just sitting there. And so, but just because it's been sitting there for 3 years, it doesn't mean it's never going to move ever again. I'm just waiting for the right opportunity, and this is normal. This is what you see. And sometimes there are periods where for years on end, individual coins, whether it's Bitcoin or ETH or XRP, just sits there. It just sits there stagnant. It doesn't mean necessarily that it's lost or that people have forgotten about it. It's that they're waiting for the right opportunity. And inevitably, as markets heat up and things start rolling, then those coins do come to life. That's what they're talking about here. And as a new coin hits a new all-time high, it enters price discovery. The market doesn't know exactly where it's going to go, but the excitement is there. People start buying in. That's when the old coins come out of the woodworks and they become available on the market. This is not unique to Bitcoin or ETH or XRP or pick your asset. This is just how markets work. And so that's why I was saying earlier on the video, as long as the fundamentals for XRP don't change, there is no reason to think that this suddenly wouldn't apply to XRP. It applies to everything else, but it doesn't apply to XRP. These are the fears that I see. And I understand it. It's because it's been so long and emotions, they're high, and it just, people torture themselves, especially given the nonsense that we've had to go through as an XRP community with the SEC and everything else and missing the last bull market. Not in terms of directionally what XRP did, because it did go to $2, but in terms of missing an all-time high, yeah, we did, because of the SEC. People feel beat down. They feel like it's never going to happen. And I'm just here to tell you, that's emotion. That's not logic. Humans are not going to behave differently with XRP. Anyway, he continues his thought. So he writes, long-term holder distribution is a fundamental input to the bull run, a channel for adoption by new hands, and a necessary life force for the asset to thrive. The myth of a market without sellers is just that, and by definition would be no market at all. And so I think the reason that he added that last sentence is because there's this idea of the Bitcoin hodler. You know how the Bitcoin maxis talk, right? Oh no, I ain't never sell. I'm just gonna hold it forever. Just hold it forever. But that's not how people behave. And there will be individuals who look at it that way and choose to never sell. Okay. But that's not, broadly speaking, how people participate. That's why you get these wild swings and all this excitement to the upside and then terrible pullbacks to the downside, even though crypto on the whole has become less volatile as time passes, which makes sense once there's more people in. Of course, it's going to be less volatile. You can imagine how volatile a market would be if there are only 5 human participants. If one person sells, what percentage difference did we just experience as a result of one person selling if there's only 5 humans in a market? And so you can take that concept and extrapolate that out. Well, if there's 100, well, then one person selling, that's going to impact less. Now imagine that there's 1 million or 100 million or 1 billion. So the more people that jump in, the less volatility there will be here. But it will always be the case that as markets heat up and as people get into profit, they're going to be enticed to sell. This does apply to XRP. It's irrational to think that it doesn't apply to XRP or won't apply to XRP. It's just a self-defeating attitude which isn't grounded in reality. And I see this so frequently. I understand why. I'm sympathetic to it, but that's why I just wanted to share my personal opinion, because it just doesn't make any sense. Of course we're going to see a new all-time high outside of some sort of fundamental disaster for XRP that I couldn't even foresee coming. Of course we're going to. Why wouldn't we? That's how it feels to me anyway. And so it's not 100% guarantee this is going to happen. You know, it's not financial advice, and I could be wrong, but this is firmly where I stand on this. And so this former analyst from Glassnode, who shares all sorts of interesting perspective when it comes to chart analysis, he's hitting the nail on the head. He's not talking about XRP. He's talking about Bitcoin, but this is how everything is treated. It's no different for XRP whatsoever. So that's reason to be excitement. That's reason to sleep easy at night, I think. Don't you? Doesn't that make sense? And so if you're one of the people that's been beating yourself down, I get it. I'm sympathetic. But I'm trying to help you so that you don't have to feel like that. I can't tell you whether to buy or sell or hold. I can't tell you where XRP price is going. But I can tell you that my personal opinion is that it is not rational, and it's not needed to feel this level of defeat and to feel like the thing that you bought, just because you bought it, it's never going to go. That's not true. That doesn't make sense. I don't think so anyway. And then there's also this from XRP community member Irish Red Crypto, and I think he just knocked it. He's had some straight up bangers on X lately. Look at he's knocking this out of the park. I am completely in line with this thinking. He wrote the following: everything in this everything in this market, bar Bitcoin and ETH, is low cap in the big picture. You don't need to buy coin number 2000 to make money. Look at the values of all the major stocks in the S&P and Dow, and then you will understand. And folks, this just happens to be in line with something that I've been saying for years on end. It's simply this concept that even though XRP is a large cap coin, and there are only so many large cap coins, you think, because you go to traditionally how markets before, if you get a large cap coin, well, a lot of money's already in that, so the opportunity of getting tremendous wealth from a large cap, and it's less likely, but it's perceived to be less risk, and that's usually the case here. But here in the case of crypto, you do get that blend of, okay, less risk, especially for XRP, which has been around for over a decade. But there's also not much money in it because crypto is in its nascency so far as I'm concerned. There's almost no money in it. And so I think Irish Red Crypto just knocked this out of the park yet again. I firmly believe this to be correct. That's why XRP is a sweet spot for me. When this thing starts going, it doesn't take that much money, relatively speaking, to get a crazy multiplier effect. That's why so many people will experience life-changing wealth holding XRP, I firmly believe. And then there's this. We got to talk about this. Because, look, I get flack sometimes, not by a huge percentage of people, but there's a certain percentage of people that just think that I'm crazy for saying what I'm saying about my general exit strategy for XRP, because I'm going to sell lower than most people think is reasonable. I mean, I've said that I'm going to start selling XRP probably around $5 and probably either be completely out of XRP or almost out of XRP by the time it hits $8, with most of my selling probably occurring between $6 and $7. And now markets move fast, and there are other, markets are dynamic. Things could change. Something could potentially sway me. I get that. So we'll see how this actually unfolds once XRP hits a new all-time high in interest price discovery. But that's my general thought. You might be thinking, well, don't you think, Moon Lambo, that it's going to go, isn't XRP going to go way higher? And my suspicion is that the answer is absolutely yes. But I want to sell well before that because I don't know that. I look at the market, and so many people are talking about XRP going to over $10 during the next market cycle. And then there are fewer people that think it could go to 20 or 25 this upcoming market cycle. And any of those people could be right. I cede that ground. That absolutely could be right. But I don't want to try and sell when everybody else in the market thinks it makes sense. And I also bought a ton of XRP, way more than the average human, and I risked a ton so that I would be able to sell at a dollar target that is incredibly appealing to me without the additional risk of holding and going through that stress of, oh my God, am I going to be able to sell before this market tanks back down? Because I've been holding almost 6 years. I don't want to deal with that. And I made my mind up on this many years ago. And so there was a time when I thought, well, I'm probably going to have to hold XRP to, $30, $25, $20, whatever the number would have been, when I had less XRP. But then as I bought more, that number came down for me. And then I ended up making some larger purchases towards the end after dollar cost averaging for years. And then I was like, you know what? $5 sounds pretty good now. I spent so much money. Maybe I'm stupid and I could be wrong. This goes to zero, but damn it, I put so much money into this. $5, I'm going to get the dollar target that I want. And I'm not going to say what that is. And some of you would think, yeah, that's a lot. Some of you would think that's not enough. It's subjective. But for me, it is, especially when I factor in all the rest of my net worth and everything else that I'm doing. And then the fact that I have a bunch of other cryptocurrencies, that makes sense. But people are going to fall into this trap where as markets start going, you're going to have a hard time selling because you're going to feel like you're stupid for selling too soon. And that in and of itself is pretty stupid, right? And I get it. It doesn't mean that you're stupid. It means you're normal. But I'm warning you, it's a trap. It's a trap that so many people are going to fall into, and I'm not going to fall into it. And I don't care if I sell and then XRP goes 4 times higher than that or 5. I don't care. I don't care what it does because I don't know. And bitching about that after the fact would be as stupid as complaining about not knowing last week's winning lottery numbers. That's how stupid it is. Because once you have the benefit of hindsight, you can always say, of course. But in the moment, you don't know. And so what this guy did, it's just a cautionary tale of greed and foolishness, frankly. And I don't say that to be mean towards the guy, but it is what it is. This guy had for him life-changing wealth. This guy was making, this Dogecoin millionaire, he publicly stated this, he was making at the time $50,000 a year, and he had enough Doge that if he just sold it, he wouldn't have to work another day in his life. But he wanted it to go higher. $3 million wasn't enough. Damn, son. Why? And so here's the headline. Why is Dogecoin millionaire? Who is Dogecoin millionaire, and is he on Doge rich list? And just check out this story. It's a cautionary tale. In February 2021, then 32-year-old Glauber Contesoto decided to invest his life savings, about $250,000, in Dogecoin. As his investment grew to over $3 million, he became known as the Dogecoin millionaire, but he was hesitant to sell, waiting for Doge to hit the magical $1 price tag. Okay, folks, there's already so much to unpack there, but putting your life savings into one asset is insane. So good for him. I mean, at least leading up to the part where it became life-changing wealth before he squandered the opportunity. Okay, cool. But I'll just tell you this. I have incredibly high conviction that what I believe about XRP is reasonable, and I believe it's going to hit a new all-time high. And under price discovery, I think I'm going to sell it for what is, to me, subjectively an absolute fortune. I believe that is what is most probable. But I recognize I could be wrong, so I would never put my entire life savings into it. Even though, I tell you this, I think that there's an incredibly high probability that if I put my life savings into XRP, that it would just result in, like, I don't even put numbers out there because I like to keep what returns for me would be private, but it would be absolutely insane. Like, the level of wealth would just be absolutely absurd if I did that, if I'm right. And I think I would be right. But even though I have a high conviction, what you have to look is on the other side. What if what I perceive as improbable does occur? Then I've just wrecked my financial world. So is it worth the risk? The answer is no. That's foolishness. That's ridiculous. But he did it. And some people do stuff like this, and to each their own. I think it's absolutely insane. That's bat S-word crazy. I would never do this, no matter how high my conviction is in any one thing. No, absolutely not. I've been working for decades, and with keeping retirement in mind and making sure that I've got what I need to have, and then to put it all, let's just put it all this one, put it all in black. Nope, ain't happening. But that's what he did, and for a short period of time, it worked, and he became very famous. Piece continues. After the Dogecoin price crashed in 2021 and 2022, Contesoto continued holding onto his Doge as the meme coin plummeted all the way from its all-time high of 74 cents in May 2021 to 7.4 cents in March 2023. That's absolutely insane. Oh my God. Anyway, let me go down because they share some additional interesting information here about what he did. In February 2021, Dogecoin was trading at about 4.5 cents. After reading about the meme cryptocurrency on Reddit in early 2020, Contesoto decided it's time to go all in. He maxed out his credit cards and invested his life savings, reportedly $250,000, into Dogecoin. While his friends and family wondered whether he lost his mind, Contesoto was off to a great start. Just 2 months after the initial investment, he was sitting on more than $1 million. I believe I'm the first Dogecoin millionaire of 2021, he stated on Twitter. As Dogecoin continued to rally and the Dogecoin dog meme became mainstream, Contesoto's account grew to a peak of $3 million, at which point he decided to quit his job. At this point in time, he was up more than 12x on his initial investment of $250,000 in a span of just 3 months. In mid-September 2021, days after being prominently featured in a New York Times article, Contesoto met with a crypto expert with whom he had a heated debate over whether he should sell his holdings at 25 cents per Doge. He didn't. Contesoto was reportedly waiting to sell it all once Dogecoin hit $1, which ultimately never came to pass. Okay, folks. So, and I actually saw a video too It was just a video clip where Graham Stephan, who is a very famous YouTuber, he's got over 4 million subscribers. He talks about crypto sometimes, but it's more like broadly speaking of like a finance channel. And he'll talk about real estate and other stuff. I'm sure a lot of you know who I'm talking about. Very famous guy. Interesting channel. I think he puts out good content. But anyway, he talked with this guy. He got together with somebody else, and they were just trying to convince him, you need to sell. $3 million worth of Doge, you don't have to work another day in your life. And they pointed out, look, if you just take this out, just invest it in traditional finance, and then you can pay yourself, even if it's just 3% per year. Like, you never have to work another day in your life. And mind you, he was making $50,000 a year, even at 3%. $3 million. You're talking about 90 grand a year, even at just 3%, if that's what he pays himself. And then his holdings would still get bigger over time on top of that. He was set. He didn't have to worry about anything. But no, he needed that Doge to get to that $1 mark because of and if you've been in crypto a while, like, even numbers like that, those are typically, or very frequently anyway, psychological levels where there's incredible resistance. And it didn't even make it anywhere close to it. You guys know that, well, here, I got the Doge chart pulled up, all-time chart. It got up to all-time high of 73 cents according to Live Coin Watch anyway. So it didn't really get particularly close to $1, but it had a massive face-melting rally. And good for everybody. I'm sure a lot of you out there listening, at least some of you, held Doge during this time. I'm sure many of you hold now. I've never held it. I'm not against it. I think it's silly and doesn't make sense from a utility perspective. But I mean, I'm not like sour about it or anything. Like, good for you guys that you're making money on Doge. Cool. But my God, like, he had it, and he just the foolishness and the greed. Because I'll tell you, if it were me, perhaps it's the case. It means a virtual certainty that I would not have held the $3 million, which he did. But I also wouldn't have held it to $50,000. So yay me on that one. So maybe I would have sold, maybe, who knows? If it were me, maybe it would have been 1.5 million. I'm just making stuff up now. I wouldn't have kept holding it though. And then what would have happened is I would have seen that, say I sold it at $1.5 million, just making up a number. And then say I saw it run up, and then I could tell myself, oh man, if I just not sold my Doge, it would have been $3 million. Now, I'm so stupid, I regret this. No, but I wouldn't. I wouldn't regret it because that's stupid. That's as dumb, as I said earlier in the video, it's as dumb as bemoaning the fact that you didn't have last week's winning lottery numbers a week ago. That's how stupid that is. It makes no damn sense. So no, I wouldn't be bemoaning such a fact. I'd be like, wow, look at this life-changing wealth I have. Pile that on top of everything else that I have, all the rest of my net worth, and then my other crypto holdings and everything else, and the fact that I'm still working, I'm good to go. I'd be thrilled, be over the moon about it, absolutely. But no, I wouldn't be. And so look, but you're gonna have these feelings when XRP starts running. You're gonna have these feelings, and it's gonna be tough. For me, it won't be. I don't imagine. Now, fine, technically I haven't sold. We'll see if it is emotionally tougher, it starts to hit me, then I'll tell you guys. But I'm not going to let that impact how I behave. I'm definitely not going to let that impact how I behave here. I mean, so all the greed and the foolishness went from $3 million down to $50,000, and he quit his damn job. Maybe don't quit your job if you don't have this, like if you don't make the paper money, the unrealized gains, the so to speak paper money, if you don't make that become real, which you could if you have the opportunity, you could make it become real. If you don't make it become real, maybe hold off on quitting your job. Maybe that's a good idea. And look, this isn't to say Doge could never come back. It doesn't mean that it won't ever hit a new all-time high. It very well may. I don't know. That's not the point of this, me talking about this in this video. The point is, this is what happens to people again and again and again. That's a trap. And so that's why it's in this video. That's why I covered it. There's a psychological trap. Oh, XRP, it's just now. What if it's just never going to be treated like these other coins? The other coins hit new all-time highs and mine isn't. Well, that's silly nonsense, but people it's just self-defeat. And then on the flip side, when things are going well, people have the hardest damn time with it because they're worried about selling too soon. Stop it. Just have at least if not a 100% cemented plan in place. If you're not going to do that, have a rough idea of where it's going to be reasonable for you to sell, and maybe just stick to it. And not beat yourself up if it goes way higher, because you can't time the top. This guy couldn't, and he lost everything. Do you want to be Dogecoin millionaire but in XRP form? Because I don't. I sure as hell don't. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to sell. It's going to be way lower. And this is why I'm thrilled I'm thrilled that I put so much money into XRP. Subjectively, I say it's a lot for me. Some of you would agree, some wouldn't. Okay? Because there are people listening that have a lot more XRP than me. And there are people that have way less XRP than me. So it is subjective, but all that to say, I'm glad that I took all this additional risk on. I'm still glad that I've done this. And I'm glad that I'll get the dollar figure I want selling at $5, whereas when I had less, I probably would have been one of the people that felt like I needed to hold the $10 or $15 or $20 or $25. Maybe I would have gone through a whole nother cycle after that just to make that happen. But selling sooner than almost anybody's talking about, that makes me feel pretty good right now. And that's the reason I did what I did. So either I'd have to hold through a subsequent cycle, or I'd have to lower my expectations in terms of dollar payout, which more likely is what I would have done. Because once it rockets, I'm going to recognize that. I would have recognized even if I held a way less XRP, and I'd still just sell. And maybe I'd push it a little further. Then maybe I'd go and start selling at $7 or $8. I don't know, maybe. But the point is, I would not be afraid to sell at lower levels than almost anybody. And there will be people that make fun of me when I'm public about this, and I'm just going to think, no, you're a damn fool. Your mentality is the reason people get broke investing. Your mentality. That's what I will think about those people. And they're going to be there, and it's a small percentage of people, and they're going to give me crap, and I just don't give a damn. I'm going to think they're damn fools. That is exactly what I'm going to think. But to each their own. They can do their own, and they can hold past the all-time high, and then maybe pull a Dogecoin millionaire but in XRP form, and then I'll just be sitting there with my life-changing wealth. Even if it's 4 times lower than what the XRP high ultimately was when it finally rips. I don't care. It's just fine. So I just wanted to expand some thoughts on this because, again, as markets are heating up, just you need to have these things in mind. And hopefully you guys have sufficiently thought through this and you've kind of done some work internally, mentally to prepare yourself, because these markets destroy people. And if you're not emotionally prepared for this going in, you're going to have a real tough time. So just think about it. Be ready for just anticipate what these emotions may feel like, because this is what hits people. It's not going to be unique to you. This is what hits people, these feelings. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.